But here's a fascinating thing. This is in the current issue of Science. ScienceMag.org is the website, although I think that you have to be a member of the American Association for the Advancement of Science to read the whole article, which I am. And so I have the whole article here. I'll share pieces of it with you. Although the abstract is available for anybody to read. So what they found, well, here here's the headline and the abstract. The headline is large-scale psychological differences within China explained by rice versus wheat culture. Some parts of China, principally North China, they grow wheat. Other parts of China, Central and South China, they grow principally rice, although in Central China they grow both. Most Chinese restaurants, if you walk into a Chinese restaurant in America today, you're going to get northern Chinese food. And the soy sauce isn't actually made out of soybeans, it's made out of fermented wheat, which is why I can't eat it. And I'm real conscious of this because I walk into these restaurants and they thicken their sauces with wheat flour, and the soy sauce is wheat, and I would get so sick in most Chinese restaurants. And every now and then I'll find a Chinese restaurant that's a southern Chinese restaurant, and they have soy sauce that's actually made out of soy, or they use fish sauce or something like that, and they will have food that is thickened with rice rather than wheat, but whatever. What they found was that there's actually a psychological difference between people who live in wheat-growing areas and people who live in rice-growing areas. So the question was, why? And what's the difference? Well, first of all, the difference is that the rice-growing people, and this is at the level of individual psychology. I mean, it also happens across culture, but at the level of individual psychology, the rice-growing people tend to be more cooperative, more collaborative, more empathetic, more community-based. They're like liberals. All for one, one for all. We're all in this together. Whereas in the wheat-growing areas, they tend to be more libertarian, less empathetic, less willing to help their neighbors, more, I got mine, good luck on you, Charlie. Less interdependent and more independent. And so the question was, why? Is this a matter of genetics? Is it a matter of climate? Or does it have something to do, is it a matter of how the food affects people's brains? Turns out it's none of those three things. This is absolutely fascinating. The abstract, they say cross-cultural psychologists have mostly contrasted East Asia with the West. However, this study shows that there are major psychological differences within China. Within China, not, China versus the West like us, but within China itself. We propose that a history of farming rice makes cultures more interdependent, whereas farming wheat makes cultures more independent, and these agricultural legacies continue to affect people in the modern world. We tested 1,162 Han Chinese participants in 6 sites and found that rice-growing southern China is more interdependent and holistic thinking than the wheat-growing north. To control for confounds, like, in other words, things that could actually be what's going on, or it might even seem like it's what's going on, but it isn't. To control for confounds like climate, we tested people from neighboring counties along the rice-wheat border and found differences that were just as large. In other words, climate had nothing to do with it. We also found that modernization and pathogen prevalence theories, in other words, is it that they have different bugs, different bacteria, their bodies are reacting differently to the food, any of these things, or just modern culture. We also found that modernization and pathogen prevalence theories do not fit the data. So why is it that people who live in rice-growing regions of China, psychologically at the individual level, are more communitarian and less libertarian than people who live in the wheat-growing areas? Well, it turns out that if you want to grow wheat, all you have to do is go out and drop some wheat berries in your field and sit and watch it grow, more or less. You can do that all by yourself. If you want to go grow rice, though, rice has to be continuously immersed in water. Rice paddies, remember? And in most places, rice paddies don't just like kind of spontaneously develop along riverside. They're made. And so you have these elaborate aqua engineering, water engineering structures in rice growing areas where your rice paddy gets water from the rice paddy of the neighbor to your left, and it drains water to the rice paddy of the neighbor to your right. And every spring everybody gets out and they open up all the trenches and they clean out each other's rice paddies. They do it together. And that if you poop in your rice paddy, or you get waste or toxins in your rice paddy, it's going to end up in your neighbor's rice paddy, and he's not going to be happy about that, or vice versa. And if you screw up your rice paddy, you've screwed up, 10, 15, 20 rice paddies down the road, and everybody's upset with you. And so, in other words, rice-growing people, everybody's in it together. They are interdependent. Whereas wheat-growing people, you can do it all by yourself. Everybody can be independent. And this not only translates into a difference in society and culture, but it actually rewires the brains of people who grow up in these societies and culture over time. And I find that fascinating. So what is this? How does this apply to us? Well, for us, our rice growing is our healthcare system. We just went from a wheat-based healthcare system, the Republican conservative, buy it from a health insurance company, good luck Charlie, to a rice-based healthcare system. We're all in it together, and if we all work well, and if everybody buys in, it'll work for everybody. Same thing with education. We used to have a rice-based education system. That is, everybody pays for the public school, everybody uses it. Now, increasingly, we're moving toward a wheat-based healthcare education system.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
The private schools, the charter schools, all that kind of stuff. And in area after area after area, you can see these differences. And I think it's fascinating